Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today I want to talk about how to load a semi-automatic handgun. Now, let me just say this up front. If you are an advanced shooter, this video is not made for you. Let me repeat that. If you are in law enforcement, military, security, or if you are an experienced gun handler, this video is not for you. This is for guys that are beginners to shooting. Let's say if you just went out and bought your handgun. This video is designed for you so that you can practice and get used to loading your weapon prior to going to the range. Okay, now when you're loading a semi-automatic weapon, safety is the most important thing. Step one, and before I go on, follow these steps in this order every time you go to the range or every time you're practicing with a handgun so that you get used to it. Okay, back to loading. Step one, you want to ensure that the weapon is clear. That's very important, most important thing you can do. You do that by dropping the magazine if there's a magazine in the weapon. The second thing you do is you lock the slide to the rear. Third thing you do is inspect the chamber. By doing those three steps, you have ensured that the weapon is in a cold status, meaning that it's not loaded, it cannot fire, there's no rounds prepared to go through the barrel and exit out. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do is clear the weapon if it's not already clear. If you have your own weapon, chances are it'll be already clear. Okay, step two in the loading process, you want to ensure that you load your magazines properly. Okay, what I mean by that is that they're seated properly and that they're not over capacity with whatever magazine you have. That's very important. A lot of malfunctions happen because people fail to load properly or they have faulty magazines, so make sure you check that. Okay, so you have ensured that your weapon is clear, you have loaded your magazine properly to the proper capacity of your magazine. The third step, you want to ensure, and this is something you always should do, ensure that the weapon is pointed in a safe direction. Usually that means downrange or pointed kind of down at the ground. You want to go ahead and put the loaded properly magazine into the magazine well until you hear a click. Now, I'm not demonstrating with a weapon in front of me right now, but you can see my instructional video that I took at the range yesterday over there. Okay, so you've gone through three steps now. Now, let's go to the fourth step. You want to let the slide go forward. Once you let the slide go forward, that's going to put a round into the chamber. Now you're ready to fire that round out of the weapon. Okay, now the other way to do that is you can also what they call rack the slide back. Now if your slide wasn't already to the rear, you can just grab it, the slide with two fingers and pull it back and release it. That's called racking the slide. That'll also put a round in the chamber as well. So it's a couple ways you can do that. Okay, now finally, the last step. Now remember, you have your weapon pointed in a safe direction. You can go ahead and pull the trigger. You want to make sure that your finger stays off of the trigger until you're ready to fire. That's very important. That's one of the most important things in this sequence of steps. Okay guys, that is a quick video on how you load a semi-automatic handgun, 9mm, 45 or whatever. It's standardized pretty much across the board. Make sure that you always be safe when you're going to the range or when you're handling a weapon. For beginning shooters, you can practice this without the weapon actually being loaded. What I mean is, if you have your weapon at home, you can practice these steps, but you don't want to continuously pull the trigger because that can damage some mechanisms within the weapon itself, firing pin, things of that nature. So don't always pull the trigger. Just practice the steps minus that last step. Okay guys, take care. Okay, this is the 45. Weapon is clear, pointed down range. Magazine. Do you hear the click? car.